Would you describe it as a passion project, or is that too much effort?
To say passion, I think would be underselling it. It's just imagine two bros in a hot tub. They are about 1 foot apart and slowly orbiting closer to each other, staring into each other's eyes like so, and that's what Plume is like.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Fully Edited Podcast. My name's Patrick Lilly. My cousin's selling a drum set. This is Chandler Davis. You want to buy a drum set?
No.
This is Mitchell.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
You want to buy a drum set? $550.
Man, I wish I had that kind of money.
Dawson,
yes, I do.
Oh, we got him! Okay.
Wait,
I've been swindled.
What kind of,
$550. I have no idea.
What kind
it's
of
from
drum
2007.
I actually just
That's
started.
my favorite type of drum set.
I just started playing drums last night, actually.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
my dad got an electric drum
Going
set.
right into it.
And
Sounds like you got a purchase to make.
yeah,
You got
I
investment
know.
ahead of you.
Well, because I want to get good at the learn on the electronic and
Like
then
how
move up
cavemen used
to
to.
acoustic. I have calluses already on my hands.
Wow,
too.
cool.
Yeah, no,
Wait,
it's
wow.
And we also have Zak Gerhart. You want to buy a drum set?
No, he already wants to buy it.
Yeah, it's
I'm
pretty much a
stupid.
done
I gotta-
deal.
That's not how that works. I got to get you guys bidding against each other.
What kind of money do you think I have?
yeah.
I didn't think I'd get any yeses, so I
know.
thought maybe I'd get 2 if I got 1.
I was telling Chandler today that when I go behind a drum set, all my musical experience and skill just disappears, and I'm just like that dog at the computer with the tie. That's me. So.
Happens to all of us, Zach.
You can't do chords, dude.
No, you can't.
Yeah,
you
it's-
can't.
No chords on a
Kind
drum
of.
set.
I mean, I guess, but
Because guitar, I can just be like, one finger goes here, the other one's go here, and
That's
then I
how
can
it
just
works,
strum it,
yeah,
and it
you're right.
sounds all right. Drums is like,
The
what do I
drums
do?
make, I don't know, the drums make a lot of sense to me. Like when I started playing them, I was just like, I've never had that feeling before with an instrument, but I started playing those and I was like, no, I get all this. Like I get it. Like
You have
I get
to.
the
There's no
mechanics of it.
hesitation. You have to strike with certainty.
Yeah.
But if you don't know the drum tier list, you're not going to go very far.
Anyway, these two are part of a band called
Yeah.
Plume.
That's us.
Yeah.
We're in Plume.
Wow.
You want to tell us about Plume a little bit?
I-
Intro Plume.
Well, I mean, thanks for having us on the podcast, guys.
sure.
I mean,
Thanks.
yeah.
Thank you for coming on the
Well,
podcast.
thank you for letting us be on the
Thank you.
podcast.
Yeah, well,
Thank
thank
you
you.
for standing around for 35 minutes while we were getting everything set up.
Nobody saw that though.
Okay,
right?
nobody saw that.
So it didn't happen.
It didn't
45
happen.
minutes. But
45? Awesome. It's a new record for not being prepared on time.
Oh no, it's all good. It's all good. Neither were we. So
sure, yeah.
Plume's kind of like.
Let's just gaze into each
Is that
other's
what
eyes
it's-
for a
Yeah,
little bit.
let's just stay.
Get lost for a second.
Would you
Plume's-
describe it as a passion project, or is that too much effort?
To say passion, I think would be underselling it. It's just imagine
Underselling.
two bros in a hot tub. They are about 1 foot apart and slowly orbiting closer to each other, staring into each other's eyes like so, and that's what Plume is like. That's how much passion goes into this project.
I can feel it.
Yeah.
All the tension.
I can feel it. I'm entering their orbit.
Yeah,
you know, I feel
yeah.
sucked into it just
Yeah.
from over here.
I see.
Oh yeah, the gravitational pull also makes it a whirlpool.
Yeah.
So once you like are exposed to it, you can't stop being exposed
Did you
to
ever do
it.
that thing as kids? We all ran around the outside of a pool and tried to make it a whirlpool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Did it ever work?
So pools.
That's what Dawson and I are doing right now.
We only need 2 people for that.
when we record our music, that's actually the process.
If you have an above ground like circle pull, it's really easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm talking in ground. In ground with corners.
in ground.
Yeah.
No.
That's not even
Rectangular.
possible. You're crazy.
underground.
That's the hard part. Yeah.
Whirlpools can't have corners.
Oh boy.
So
You don't know anything about whirlpools, do you, Patrick?
That's why it's never worked.
Oh, this is great.
So you're actually, we know you from the radio.
Yep.
You were on the show, actually a minute ago.
It was a little
It was
while.
a quick minute ago.
I think that literally. I'm like,
That was
that's not
was that
true.
the
40 something?
that was the episode
Yeah,
right
something like that.
before
It was
I
right before you left,
for
yeah.
Florida. That was the last
Yeah.
episode I was on.
That
yeah.
was.
Yeah.
We saw you right as you left, and you came back, and you're still with the same guy.
Yeah, dude.
Nothing has changed.
right back to
I don't know
where
what
we
you
left
think
off.
happens at Disney, but
Maybe come back with like Oswald or something. Maybe it would have been found finally after all these years.
Who?
Oswald.
Lee Harvey?
No. Never mind. I guess nobody played Epic Mickey.
Yeah.
Oh,
That shit-
No
What a
one,
reference.
no one played Epic Mickey.
I didn't even play Epic
Dan,
Mickey.
what's the
What was that
question?
book series about Disney? Was it like Kingdom Keepers or something? Did
Fantasia?
anyone read that?
Yeah, no, I know
Fantasia.
what you're talking about, but I don't remember what it was
I didn't
called.
read that. I read like 10 pages.
Kingdom Hearts?
That's the one.
Yeah, that's the
That's
one.
it,
Full
Kingdom
circle.
Hearts.
Ooh,
Dude,
there
is
we
that
go.
Epic Mickey?
Yeah, pretty much. I've Mickey 2 confirmed.
Dawson, how do you feel about the third game?
Oh,
And
There
is
is
there-
an
it's-
Epic
and
Mickey.
is there
Oh.
a song in the works describing your feelings about the third game?
That would be interesting.
Yes, it's called,
called Sad.
Easy Mode. Yeah, it was a little too easy.
On the way to
Not
this-
enough post game.
Yeah, on the way to the studio the other day, we had a very lengthy conversation about how Kingdom Hearts 3 was probably not as there wasn't as much of a tussle as it should have been, you know?
Hustle.
Yeah, I just didn't like how all the game was. Sora needs to get stronger, yet he destroyed everyone anyway.
Yeah.
And then it was all just Disney worlds. And then the final story that we've been looking forward for years happened in the last world of the game, and that was it. Like I wanted more of like a, like a Kingdom Hearts 2 type deal where they're like seeing him the whole world, like the whole time throughout the game. There wasn't even like a single like. There wasn't Hall of Bastion, like no Final Fantasy characters. That made me angry.
There was no Coliseum, right?
Yeah, no.
See, that's
There
the
was
kind of
just, like-
that's the kind of build-up that Plume strives to have the opposite of
Yes.
in our music.
Why?
We like to
What does
have
that even mean?
consistent.
So
we
after
like-
15 years.
yeah, so in 15 years when we put out our first album, we like to have
Yeah,
consistent
Plume
like
actually started in 2004.
Yeah, we debuted with Kingdom Hearts 1.
we were old school. We wrote simple and clean.
Yeah, still 100% of the game. Had to, but
I'm sorry.
yeah. Oh, I mean, I'm not sorry, but sorry, not sorry, I guess I should say. Still good.
So Plume is. Can you describe a little bit of like maybe? I don't want to put you in a box, but like genre maybe get people on the tracks
Or do you
of kind of what we're.
transcend that?
Or do you transcend?
So
With
imagine,
your bro love.
so imagine that there are two bros sitting in a hot tub.
Keep
Hot
going.
tub rock.
Only hot tub rock. But were we talking about a song called Root Beer Blues at one
Oh
point?
yeah, we were.
Wow.
I feel like genre's kind of hard to pinpoint, because it's like right now we've done like a lot of acoustic music, but I feel like that's just kind of because of like our limitations at the moment.
You
know?
released an acoustic EP.
Yes, we did. We recorded 4 songs with our wonderful friend Bill Madej. He is a staple of the local music scene, and if anyone tells you otherwise, they're wrong.
We need 5 songs.
4 songs? I didn't say 4 songs.
What?
You said 4.
Did I say 4 songs? Oh, I'm sorry, guys.
There's now one of them's
Now there's
leaving
2 EPs.
Spotify.
All right, I quit the band now.
They're taking one song off, so you
Well,
better
no,
listen to it.
we recorded all 5 songs with our friend Bill, and yeah, he just really helped us get our feet off the ground. It was kind of like a demo, like a test run sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like we figured out how we recorded together, how we recorded with other people, how we like wrote songs together, and then we were just like, it was decent. Let's put it out, I guess.
Yeah.
Had our buddy Matt mastered as we always do.
And the songs are they're very personally driven,
Yes.
from what I've heard.
Very
That's for
feel
sure.
good as well.
Oh,
Sometimes.
Just wait till you hear some of the other stuff I've been writing lately.
Awesome.
It's been
Well,
a
that was
bad
one of the
week.
things that struck me about it, though, is like I was so used to recently hearing so many songs that are like, my girlfriend broke up with me, or like fight the power.
Well, that's what it is all about.
All that too. But there was also like that silver lining of like things will get better, very much so, which I also really liked, and it was refreshing to hear coming from those songs.
Yeah, I recently was like, you know what? I should listen to some happier music. I'm gonna go through all my music that I listen to and make like a motivational playlist.
Oh no.
Out of the like 2,000 songs I have saved, there's about 20 on there.
Yeah, it's a rare find.
The rest are kind of depressing.
I think a lot of our like influences in the music that we like and stuff. Like I'm all about like being sad all the time.
Yeah.
But like a lot of
For
the
sure.
like
Amen.
a lot of our mutual influences I feel like are really peppy.
Yeah.
Like I'll always like bring up like Jukebox the Ghost.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Nice.
Panic
Our
at the Disco
boys.
is pretty
Socks.
peppy.
Yeah.
Like we just
Wearing
have, like, yeah, he's wearing
socks.
the Jukebox the Ghost.
Wow, dude, you wearing socks right
Check
now?
out his socks.
Oh,
Nice.
yeah. Big boys on.
It's the same ones we wore on all of our our first album, like photos and stuff.
Are you gonna put those potentially like on eBay or something as like the socks you wore while you recorded the EP?
Socks that I sweated in.
Yeah.
Can we legally sell another band's merch?
Yes.
Yeah,
If you
sure.
sweat in them.
Well, then it is.
Yeah.
It's his sweat disguised as jukebox
Yeah,
socks.
there's gamer music sweat.
Gamers rise up.
Oh.
Find my socks.
That's actually how we plan to fund our first album.
Hey man, it's rough. Whatever you're gonna do.
It is rough. Yeah, speaking of rough, we just recently also recorded another cover that was significantly less happy. But like I
Was it the Chemical Prism?
it was
one?
Chemical Prism, was a Falling in Reverse
Not
song.
happy
Yep.
at all.
Not happy at all.
No.
But you know, listen, I think sometimes like it's cool to have balance in your music.
Yeah,
Because you
for
gotta be
sure.
like, you gotta be peppy, but you also gotta be real sometimes, and sometimes you just gotta be really like, you gotta have your hair down in your face and feel really misunderstood.
You can't be happy all the time.
Well,
That's
no.
just not how being alive works.
People aren't like that. Set It Off wrote a song about that. They're another one of my big influences too, and they have like a lot of like those dark rock elements, but they're also like add like a peppier pop element. And I feel like that's kind of something that I like to try to encapsulate when writing and performing music. Sometimes I think it's a nice challenge.
That's
Gotta
awesome.
Highs and lows, man.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta have fun for any occasion.
Gotta hit your and your.
Yeah, exactly. Dawson, you're the piano player.
Yeah,
you're the
that's me.
keyboardist.
Yeah.
Which moniker do you prefer, pianist or keyboardist?
Well, I am a pianist before a keyboardist for sure. I'm classically trained since I was like 6 years old. So just started getting into making the, like the more rock alternative.
Edgy.
The edgy
Yeah,
music.
yeah, yeah.
It's because I don't know how to write real music.
But yeah, I was all into classical and jazz, and we've been friends since we were like 3 years old. So like, he just asked, and we were just like, we always talked about playing music, and then we finally did it, and it's fun. So it's different for me because I usually play like jazz or classical, but it's cool playing music like this too.
It's cool to stretch the chops.
Oh
you know,
yeah,
and see-
big chops.
big chops.
I'm not opposed to like lengthening my chops either.
Yeah.
So like if you ever just like, hey, like here's a jazz piece that I wrote, I'll be like,
yeah.
something will happen with this. I'll figure
Beer
something
Blues.
out. Yeah, Root Beer Blues.
Please do.
Yeah.
some
Yeah, Root Beer
jazzy
Blues is actually
stuff.
gonna be a jazz piece once it happens.
Yeah,
That'd
it's
be
a jazz
awesome.
Wait, does root beer make you sad?
Or
Is that
It
what
makes me jazzy.
Puts the jazz in my
Crack
veins.
open the bottle. Like, ooh.
Dude, please start doing
Turning into a jazz band.
Well, Root Beer Blues is just
Ska.
it's gonna be our ska. So we're gonna call it Root Beer Blues, but it's gonna be a jazzy like ska.
Yeah.
piece. We're
All
talking
ska.
a lot about a conceptual song in this episode of 4 Minute Podcast.
just making a song conceptually in the entire episode.
I've got like a bunch of songs written that I'm like, yo, I'd love to like show these to like Dawson and to like Jared who plays with us also, and I'm just like, yeah, but Root Beer Blues is fun to talk about.
Yes.
Do you have? Are you the type of person that like you'll write a lot of stuff and then you kind of have to figure out what you want to narrow down and actually go through with like making and fleshing out? Like, are you the type you're just having tons of ideas all the time and you're writing stuff down?
Yeah, it's more so I think with me I get a lot of like sporadic ideas.
Yeah.
And then if one like really sticks with me and I feel like I can develop it, then I'm like, okay, like I'll actually work on finishing this, and if it comes together really well, I kind of try to like group it into like maybe like a mood or like a theme of like what there's a couple songs you think would fit together, you know? So I've kind of just got like a list in my head of the songs that I'm thinking would all like this would go like together into a kind of cohesive album. And like that's what like 3 of the songs on our 5-song EP
Yeah.
were
song
about.
EP's different.
Our 4-song EP that'll be later, but a lot of 3 of the songs are actually meant to be full band pieces, and I know we're planning on re-recording those at a later date with like much better quality and production and stuff. But yeah, it was pretty much just like, again, like we wanted to like test the waters, kind of get the melody out there so that when it comes back it's more of like a treat for the OG listeners, you know, assuming they enjoy it, which is a big leap to make, but we try, you know.
So the reason you say get the melody out there, imagine you on a street corner with like a boombox just playing the melody.
It's a saxophone.
I just got to get it out there.
It's a saxophone.
Nice.
I put my iPhone up to a saxophone and I play it through the sax.
You put your eye up to the
I
saxophone.
put my eye to the
blow out
saxophone.
air.
Yeah, I'm just Peacock from Skullgirls.
Oh wow, that's an amazing reference.
I
dude.
was honestly, the reason I stopped and looked at you is because I was hesitating to make
You were
it.
hesitating.
I was like, would they get it? Would anyone understand?
Dude, I love.
that's
That's
the,
my favorite. Like, Skullgirls isn't even one of my favorite fighting games, but that character alone is like my top 3 most favorite fighting game characters.
Oh my god, yeah.
Just because of his
Yeah.
The fact
Peacock-
that people make YouTube videos doing covers of songs with
Yup.
that character's
Oh no!
moveset.
That's Big Band, right?
Oh, I'm so
the
sorry.
sax guy. Peacock is the little
Peacock
cartoon
is a
girl.
totally different one.
Yeah. But Big Band is
Band's my
that's a good experience. I honestly think that if we need brass sections in our songs, and we haven't had this idea yet, we should just sample Big Band from Skullgirls.
Please.
You know
I'm
what?
sure someone's already done it.
I really think that might actually be the best way to get brass in our music.
We're gonna have to cut it when I mess that reference up, and we're just gonna have to ADR in me saying Big Band.
That's not
You just put the actual voice clip from the announcer, just like, oh, I love Big Band.
That's currently the reference to beat now.
The reference to
Skullgirls.
beat. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's very
So
intermediate.
please make a more
Obscure.
I should have
Yeah,
known
it's
that
really
having you on the show would elicit a lot of very in-depth intermediate references and memes.
Yeah.
It's something I wasn't really prepared
That's kind of
for.
just, honestly, I blame you for that. For corrupting me to that lifestyle. Everything you see before you is something Dawson molded.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, many years. So
You've done a lot of great
So
work.
much.
Is he a sleeper agent or something?
That was bad work.
yeah, so I strapped him to a chair
I'm-
in my basement, and I'm like, memes, and he's like, no, I can't. And then he's like, memes, and then whenever he hears the word suck, he must go in depth with every meme.
It's like that meme of Mr. Krabs where he's like, this is me homunculus flesh puppet that me soul will transfer to an event of me death. That's what I am to Dawson. I'm basically just his backup drive.
I keep him in a constant
State of euphoria to keep me from massacring me customers. And that's pretty much how it is with me. We keep him in a constant state of songwriting to keep him from I don't know.
I had no idea.
Yeah, well, that's how the story goes. You now know my tragic backstory.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to rerail this train.
Where were we going with
So-
this?
Re-rail it, please.
We had you on from Off the Radio.
Yes, you did.
Oh my
And we have you
god.
on for Plume.
Yes.
I'm bringing it that far back. So Run from the Radio is a very, it's a I don't know how it's a prog punk band or something.
Kind of, yeah.
So, and a lot of the songwriting that I've heard so far is kind of, it's way more impersonal than Plume is.
Yeah.
By the way, at no point am I saying Run from the Radio's music is bad. That's
No, you're
that's some of the
dissing.
positive.
No, I will if you don't.
Josh laughed because I was really loud putting my cup down on the floor when it got really quiet.
Josh is the kind of person who really appreciates
Anyway,
that
Josh
sort of
is a
thing.
great cameraman because he's laughing and putting the camera towards the floor.
I want to just cut to that footage
Yeah,
when you
I
said
know.
that because it was at the floor when you said it.
Right then.
So anyway,
No, but yeah.
the radio, pretty impersonal. It's like
Yeah.
it's kind of personally driven, but not as much. Plume is incredibly personally driven.
Yes.
And it gives a lot of insight into who Mitchell Kresge is.
Unfortunate.
Oh boy.
So
Yeah.
does it take more out of you to write like a Plume song than Run from the Radio song, or is it like about the same? Is it easier to write Plume because it's like you writing what you know, or like?
Yeah, do you feel like Plume is more of, you have to put more thought into those things because it's like a direct reflection of you, kind of? Whereas Run from the Radio, maybe you can separate it a little more,
Yeah, well, you see, I'm a complicated man.
Oh, boy.
When I
Here we
see a
go.
guitar,
for sure.
I play it. So yeah, writing Plume
That's it.
songs is...
I play guitar.
I play guitar. I cry. Yeah, I feel like with writing Plume songs, I have more of a personal desire to like go in depth with it and to really like push the limits of my writing, Because as of right now, like a lot of the songs that we've recorded and put out, I've been like, "Hey Dawson, I wrote this song." Because I'm a loser, and he's just like, "Yeah, I'll play it." And
So dude, I'll throw some keyboards down.
Yeah.
I feel like you have Dawson in your basement, like chained
Yeah.
to the radiator.
Well,
I'm
and he
essentially just
only
like,
has a
I'll mix something up.
Yeah,
that's what you would
Dawson's
think.
just playing each Kingdom Hearts in order nonstop. And every once in a while, he'll be like, "Yeah, I got this song." He's like, "I'll bust something out."
Exactly.
I keep
And then you
him
turn
Exactly.
90 degrees in your computer and start playing.
One
I
hand.
keep him in a constant state of euphoria to keep him from massacring me songs. So
Exactly.
no, but with Plume songs, like again, like I feel like I push the limits of my creativity a lot more, and like I feel like a lot of it because it's like stuff that I'm very attached to, and I've like put like a lot, or tried to at least put a lot of thought into. Like I'm less like, it's almost less like the writing process isn't as much of like a collaboration or a compromise. The compromise and the collaboration come when we actually like do the arranging, like in the studio. Like we'll take like your ideas, or like we've been working with Joey Papa from Electric Sensei. He's been recording 2 new songs actually. We've been working on.
He's awesome.
One is he?
He's the drummer.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a great guy. Great recording engineer and everything. But
his entire band kind of blew me away. So
absolutely.
Which one? Because they're all cool.
Yeah, and he recorded like their entire album too, and it sounds like professional. So like we were just like, yes, Joseph, please work with us. And he's been putting in some real good work. He finished like some of our mixes like a day before he left for Japan for a month, and he like clutched it. But like I'm saying, like he's in the studio with us. He knows about music, and he's like, I think it would sound really cool if you did this. And a lot of like what you'll end up hearing in some of our songs is suggestion that he made. Or that you made, or like that I was like, yeah, maybe we should try this. You know, so I feel like with Run From the Radio, it's more of like a collaborative effort, but I almost feel like it boils down to become simpler. Even though like the messages are intentionally less personal, because we kind of have like a whole motif thing going on with this set of songs that we've written. But it's also like, I don't feel like I feel like it's hype, but I'm not really putting my heart into it, you know? Mm-hmm. I'm putting my anger into it, which is fine.
It's definitely a different vibe than Plume.
Yeah, there's a time and a place for all of that, but sometimes you just gotta feel, you know?
Do you think Plume is basically you're like ripping open your chest and just exposing your heart?
Yeah, pretty much.
There's on the radio, you're like just kind of yelling at people.
Yeah.
With a megaphone.
That's what I say. I just say I'm the angry guy in the band. I just yell things, you know?
Do you think that there is maybe, like you being from a classical background and then coming into doing something like this, do you feel like sometimes in the studio, when it comes to the arrangement, you have like a certain way of approaching things that kind of clashes a little bit?
I don't know if it clashes, so to
or just
speak,
different.
because like the songs are definitely open for more kind of like creative interpretation from my standpoint. Mm-hmm. So like he'll have those chords written down, but I can take a lot of liberty, I feel, in what I want to do. Like in songs that were recorded that aren't out yet and stuff like that, I do things that are like, it's not just chords. It's me just like doing maybe like a Kingdom Hearts type style, like going up.
Oh, there's a section of one song that we have where Joey was like, yo, you need to put an organ in this. So we put like a synth string pad, we put like this Dracula organ on top of it. He was like, Dracula is pissed.
Yeah. So I laid that down.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, I'm sorry.
And then laid
That's
that down.
That's actually the tagline for the podcast.
We laid that down, and then I pretty much was like, let's run with this. So like I just ran up and down the keyboard a couple times, and it sounded sick.
The new Plume thing is to put like a in every song.
Put little twinkles in it.
I love that.
And it sounds really like it sounds like it was. I was just like, I feel like this part of the song should sound like a rock version of like a Kingdom Hearts like boss theme.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what it ended up sounding like.
He says that, and I'm just like, okay, I'll try it out, and then
and then it was fine. Yeah.
And that's where like the classical and jazz I feel comes in, because like I can just like hear that and be like, okay, I can try this thing, and if it doesn't work, then it's fine.
Improv, and just knowing the theory and how to.
I think the fact that you have more of that too makes a lot of like the songs that I've already written more interesting to listen to.
Well, because I know a lot of people said like if he plays a song like when I'm not there, like it sounds good, but then when I'm there, there's just like more depth to it.
Because Dawson's the band.
But like, I feel like it's cool to have that like, to have it sound so different just by adding a keyboard.
Well, our second song, I think, To Whom, that's the To Whom It May Arouse Apathy from. The most Fallout Boy of our song titles.
Yeah.
So,
but it also, I think it benefits the most from having Dawson, because usually when it's just me on guitar, it's like a little like finger picking thing. It's like, okay, cool, but throwing the piano in there adds so much more like rhythm and depth. And beauty, and then he just puts some melodica in his mouth, and one hand's the piano, and one hand's the melodica, like a la Ben Thornwell.
Because I got a melodica for my grandma one summer, and I'm like, I really want to use this in a song. So we finished To Whom, and I'm like, I need to put more melodica in this song. So I did, and it turned out so cool.
It became iconic.
So now we use it every time.
Do
we
it
play.
live?
Yeah, we do it every time.
That's awesome.
How far out from you are buying a guitar?
Oh my god, I want
that on the
so
horizon?
bad.
Yeah.
I also really want to get like a full accordion.
Oh,
that'd be
my
awesome.
God.
I want to learn how to play that so bad.
I have a small accordion in my basement, but it's definitely like just a children's like training accordion.
Yeah, no, I want like a big boy.
We do need a thick boy. Well, people actually asked us that originally. They were like, "And that second track on your EP, is that an accordion?" And I was like, "Nah, it's the melodica."
Melodica sounds a lot like it. Makes it sound a little Italian.
I think it's a fuller sound.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the keyboard and piano, it's such a versatile instrument that can add so much, it has so much range, and it's such a complex instrument you can do so much with. And I think adding one, like, there's no way to go wrong, with that kind of sound. Mm-hmm. I just love it. We love we're huge fans of the piano, and we're very Pat hates the piano.
Oh, it's so
we're really fans only. But no,
guitar's dumb.
It's one of those things. One of those instruments that we were just talking about last night. We kind of like passively look at and we're just kind of like, I wish I could play that.
Yeah.
That's like
you know?
my one goal in life.
Yeah.
Creatively.
It's
is
so
to learn
amazing.
piano.
I also really like anything like cello or like viola, violin.
Nice.
Those are great instruments too
Yeah.
that I'd want to learn. how to play.
I hesitate to say I taught myself to play violin for our Falling in Reverse cover that we put out. But I fiddled around with the fiddle and laid down a couple tracks for it. So yeah, like I think they're amazing instruments. Just
Yeah.
it's very hard to just pick up
You know
and
what's
play
crazy?
one.
So I was
Hold on, real quick. We have a violin.
No.
Oh.
You'll regret it. I can play one line.
Nice. That's all you need.
It's more than I've heard anyone else play.
So I went to Portland last weekend to visit my family. We were surprising my cousin for her 11th birthday. I mean, blew her mind. It was me and me and two cousins and my brother. But anyway, when we got there, we crashed her birthday party, and it was like the other side of the family was there who had no idea who we were.
Oh yes.
We were talking to I just spit everywhere. Jesus Christ.
Apologies.
And you beat her up.
Yeah.
Jumped her at her birthday.
Happy birthday,
We were
kid.
talking to my uncle's
That's a dope
sister
kid.
on the other side, and apparently she's been living in Portland her whole life. It's a very bike friendly city, so now she can bike around and she plays the fiddle while she's doing it.
What?
Which
That's
I don't
awesome.
think is possible. And I really wish I could have seen it, but I only saw her that one day and she didn't have it with her.
What a G.
That's a very Portland
Yeah,
thing.
I'm like, that seems like the kind of thing that'd be going on, and you'd be like, all right. I was like, you just watch it go past, and you'd be like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. If you're a citizen of Portland,
Yeah,
probably,
for sure.
Yeah.
Not me,
It's just
though.
such a commonplace sight to see people riding a bike and playing
Yeah.
fiddle.
Yeah.
It's a very, very artsy.
I think you said that there was somebody playing the cello in front of a weed dispensary. I'm like, that's the most Portland thing.
It was a
I've
weed
ever
dispensary,
seen in
but
my
across
life.
the street in front of a bus stop. Somebody just sitting there.
He pays to get tipped in weed.
Oh, I thought you said a Wii dispensary. And I'm like, dude, that console's like 13 years old.
No, it was weed.
Why does anybody
Yeah, I was
use
gonna
it?
say.
That's even worse, depending on who you ask.
Everyone. What do you mean?
Dude, they were really sad about Reggie retiring.
Yeah, but now Bowser's the president, so
Yeah.
That's amazing.
What timeline are we in? Honestly, I've been asking that a lot.
The
We're-
beta timeline.
we're in a very hectic one for sure.
Hectic time.
Beta timeline.
Elon Musk just changed his profile picture on Twitter to Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Like,
Unreal.
yeah. It's
Oh, we should definitely
next
plug
level.
the Plume Twitter on the account. We have a
Yeah.
Twitter at
Do it.
Plümlaut, like umlaut with a PL. If
There was a T on
100
the end, though.
huh?
Important. There's a T on the end.
Yes.
Even though you're leaving it.
It's spelled like Plumlaut.
Yes.
But
Yes.
For you Americans.
if we
out
get 100 followers from Lab 212, we will change our profile picture to what's an anime that you want to?
An anime.
What's an anime that you approve of?
The Lab 212 anime.
An
coming out
anime
this
that I
summer.
approve of.
Naruto. Make it Chino from Naruto.
What about the
Don't do.
What about the guy's hand from Parasite? I really liked Parasite.
Dude,
It was a good anime.
Naruto is the depth of my.
Aw, dude.
Let's make it
That's
Steins
very
Gate.
low tier.
All right, cool.
Make it Steins Gate.
Or the Castlevania show from Netflix.
Yes.
We'll change it to like
Those are all better.
a la carte or something. So yeah, 100 followers. Make it happen, people of America.
Not gonna
All right, get on it.
This podcast is sponsored by Relevant, a location-based mobile network personalized by your interests. Customize your news feed to consolidate all the information you care about all in one place to quickly and easily find what's relevant to you. Find out what's going on in your local area and reach your community from the palm of your hand. Relevant is available on iOS and coming soon to Android. Be the first to know with Relevant.
On our way.
Dawson, I promised you I'd ask you, when you sit in a piano
yes.
on a
Oh,
piano
boy.
bench,
When you
right,
sit in a piano.
you're sitting inside the piano playing
Catching the stars.
You guys ever see the episode of Tom and Jerry where Jerry's in a piano?
Yeah.
That was my favorite episode. It was so cool because he's like running around hitting stuff and he's making noise.
I know, I love it.
Anyway, back to your question.
thought that was gonna go somewhere.
That's how I feel like that's what Plume is.
So
if not-
we live in a piano.
If not for like the hot tub analogy, I would say that's probably the closest to how we can possibly describe
Is
ourselves.
Jerry
We
the
can
mouse
start
or
over,
Honey
Rich.
Badger?
It's fine.
Cut it.
Why don't the piano benches? Why don't they have backs? That can't be good for the posture.
Is it for the
and
thing
lumbar
where the guy walks up and he has tails on his coat and he has to like sweep them outwards and sit down?
Yes.
Chandler, what
Is
was
it actually?
No, I don't know.
Hold on, what are we sitting on right now?
We're
We're
sitting on a bench
talking
at the
about people's backs and we're sitting on it.
I wasn't taught the lore in my training. So,
Actually,
so basically, you're supposed to be playing like, yeah, but I play like I play like a big old gremlin, and I'm like hunched over, and I'm like, here we go, let's play some music. When you're supposed to be like, yeah,
You're supposed to be chilled out, but you're very like,
yeah, I'm like, let's go, boys.
It's like when I'm playing games or something, I'm losing. Like back here, I'm losing, so I'm like,
Oh.
Now you're
It's
gonna
when you
play
start getting
badminton.
serious, that's what you gotta
Playing
do.
plume music physically puts him in pain.
Yeah.
That is why he hunches
Yeah,
so
this is like my third spine, honestly.
I was gonna say I was literally there just with I had a mobile gaming moment last night where you're like, okay, I'm gonna go do my business in the toilet. I'm gonna play like a round of Brawl Stars, and then suddenly I realize it's 3:30 in the morning. Ooh. I have lost about as many games as I've won, and I have gained no trophies from it. But I had fun, damn it. And I made friends. I'm sorry.
that's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah, but definitely play like this.
Okay.
Just gotta get into it, you know.
gotta get
I like getting into the piano.
Like getting in,
Yeah,
crawling
like
inside
just
the
like
piano.
in Tom and Jerry, I'm trying to get inside of it, slide right
You
through.
gotta get close to the music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I
you
don't-
can hear it.
I don't think I could be all stoic if I want to have a good time. Like,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
just-
You gotta have fun. You gotta be loose.
Yeah.
I mean, Wood does it all.
Yeah,
That's what we should
yeah,
all
but
aspire
he
to
was
be.
like,
Yeah, who's... What was he like, Zach?
you saw. we can pull up the footage.
I would definitely
play
call
that.
that animated. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe not like
I'd
loose
call
per
that.
se.
Woodward turns into an anime.
He does what he needs to do for the sake of the
pushes
show,
up the glasses.
Yeah.
which is admirable, and they're shiny.
Au revoir.
So as a coming from a jazz background, how does it feel like slumming it down into like a
Wow.
rock and roll kind of?
Slumming it down.
Do you think
huh?
rock? Well, it's
No.
derivative
Yeah,
of.
no.
I don't
so
know.
yeah.
There's
There's
It's
always a
kinda-
joke where it's like rock music's like you're doing like nothing for everybody, and jazz music you're trying like really hard for no
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
It usually is
there's
like
room
that.
for like in between us playing songs, I'll just like a little thing in F, just like get the people going a
Yeah.
little bit, tickle them a little bit.
Yeah.
And like I definitely take some of it again, like some of the songs we play, like some of the influence comes from that. So
I almost think that's what makes the acoustic pieces better than just like a singer-songwriter type thing.
Yeah.
Because you're just like, oh, here, let me just do like.
because I'm usually I mean I do play chords, but there's a lot of times where I'm not just like playing chords.
Chords aren't real.
So like. Yeah, they're not real, honestly. I hear chord and I'm like, what?
That's just a collection of notes.
Yeah.
Could I just solo the whole
Why
song?
are you playing those so close together?
What is that?
That's pretty much what Jared does when he plays with us. We're just like, Jared, do you know this song? And he's like, nah. On whatever instrument he's playing at the time, it is. What
It's
it
like
is.
it's drums. He's like.
Yeah, exactly.
So, do you have any maybe any tips or suggestions for I guess Dawson as a keyboardist? Anyone, especially because you have like a jazzy background, you got a classical background. Those are really good tools to have going, for that instrument. And then translating it obviously into plume becomes much easier for you because of that background. Or then also any suggestions for the songwriting process of all of that and incorporating more complex instrumentation into the arrangement.
I just feel like you're going to say something.
What?
I don't know. You just started laughing. I was like, this can't be good.
So about the songwriting, like with me knowing music, I feel like me, a man of science. Well, I feel like he definitely, when Mitchell writes songs, he definitely keeps in mind that we both know what we're doing. So like he's not writing it for someone.
So that's an
just,
important piece
yeah,
of
like
the puzzle.
a lot of it would be much simpler if me or him. Well, he would know if he's writing it, but if I didn't know music, I bet you it would just be chords. But he kind of just gives me like a shell, and then I kind of just like run with it. That's pretty much how it goes. And like advice for like being able to play like that, it's just a lot of practice. And I think it's a lot of like patience too, because like if you expect to go and do that right away, like it's not really gonna work all that well. Like you got to be able to like work at it for a while. Because I know when I started, like I was really frustrated. And, like I never wanted to practice. I just wanted to get it done.
Yeah.
But then like throughout like middle and high school, I started just practicing like all the time, and that's how I started getting good. So And I also would recommend not starting off really difficult because
Yeah.
then you get really frustrated.
Yeah.
So
Way too easy.
That's what I'd say.
Because I write songs like I do for better or for worse because I had about like 2 years of I pretty much just took all the music theory classes I could in high school, and I think it's not necessary to know all the ins and outs of theory, but it certainly helped me be more conscious of like what's interesting in music and what's like what feels like movement or what's just like stagnant. You know, it helps me like try to avoid like being boring all the time.
What do you think of people? I've heard people be like, "I'm not taking theory classes because that like restricts me or something."
Honestly,
Is that,
makes
like-
it makes it better.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah,
my opinion.
It definitely
I've always
opens
heard
it
that.
up.
I'm like,
Yeah, it makes it.
Because like if you know more, then you can do
Yeah.
more. Like
I
don't
think
know.
people are like they think they're like gonna be like rewriting music theory though, so they don't want to take it because then they're like, I don't want to be trapped inside
They want to be
this
against
box.
the system.
Yeah, they're like, I can figure it out. I can figure out how to
Yeah,
break
yeah.
the system.
You do that sometimes, where like you do have to learn the basics by like studying what's already there. But the whole thing that they like told me, and what I really liked about my professor, he was just like, you need to know the rules before you can break them.
Yeah.
And then after like you learn that, like you realize that just music theory is just a language that's used to explain like why things
Yeah.
sound the way they do.
It was the same. We were told the same thing in film school too.
Yeah.
And even like I've been looking at a lot of music theory and stuff. Like I'm trying to self-teach both the actual, doing it as much as the theory behind it because I think that's important. And I took some classes in college. We took some classes in college. But I was watching Adam Neely a lot lately. I don't know if you're familiar, but he's
A little bit,
very amazing YouTuber, and he goes very deep into the theory. And he was doing a Q&A, and he got like a question that was like, I don't care about this particular thing you're talking about. Why do you drone on for so long about like the smallest things? I just want to know, like, just answer my questions, kind of. Just get to the point, kind of. And he's like, the whole point of music theory is kind of to know how if you know how going from point A to point B to point C to point D, how that works, it helps you have the fundamentals of what culminates to those things that you do like.
Well, you
and that
can-
are
It just
trying
makes
to
it so
figure
much
out.
smoother.
Yeah, it like
You can do
builds
it anywhere then.
Yeah.
That's the
exactly,
thing.
yeah.
'Cause you don't have to just
Yeah.
like, oh, it's this one example that
Right.
I have to use every time. It's like I can change that
Yeah.
slightly.
And then I watch his stuff, and you can tell he's so like knowledgeable of it because he can break everything down, work it all backwards, like reverse engineering it all because he knows the theory so well. He can break anything down and figure like anything out because of that. And it's like that's a superpower. Like
Yeah.
if you aren't interested in knowing how to do that, like what are you doing?
so
How
easy.
can you like
Yeah.
music
I
enough?
saw this crazy video where it was like musician explains a concept of 5 different levels of like understanding, and the 5th one was like it was like professional musician to professional musician, and they were like barely talking. They're like, yeah, so if I do like this and like and then no other guys like, yeah, you can do this, and they just like kept playing. And, like,
Yeah,
this isn't helping
that's
me at all,
awesome.
but that's like
It becomes secondhand at a point. So I think
Yeah.
like a conversation between musicians who have like a bit of theory training at least, or at least about it, like it just becomes sometimes like a sight to behold.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like there's not a lot of communication
you
going
like
on.
barely start talking, you're just like playing, you're like a little this to this, and they're like, yeah, and then you
Well,
go
yeah,
like
no,
that, and it's
I
like-
know when we were first working on the songs that eventually became our 4-song EP.
Oh yeah, the OG 4 songs.
The 4-song
Shortly after that,
EP.
the 5-song EP.
Yeah, but the 4-song EP, when I showed him like the first batch of songs, it was just a bunch of lyrics with letters written over them. And most people were just like, what does this mean? But he's like, oh, those are chords.
Yeah.
And like they have like their different like accidentals, like minor, major. Chords aren't real.
But they aren't real.
As we
Who is he?
established, yeah.
Who's Cord? Get him in here. We'll talk to him.
But I remember it was funny how you said like don't like start off like as you're first learning with like something crazy difficult, because like I've been like playing like guitar for years and I've studied music theory for a few less years, but like some years, and of course like classical father over here has been doing all the stuff for as long as he has been. So when I brought up like the songs at first, like some of them were like the end for us. The last track on our 4-song EP is so I love that joke for some reason. Like that one, like the tempo is like all over the place. Like it changes like speed constantly.
Yeah.
There's always like a rhythm change with like swing versus
Well,
straight.
just looking at it, you can't see that though. So
That's
it's like-
why.
That's fun.
Yeah.
And,
so-
and for as much as I do love music theory, I just don't have the patience for writing stuff out.
Yeah.
Like full sheet music like that. That is a little complicated. That is a language I admit.
But
that
I
would've-
love swing though.
I would
so
have
it
liked to
wasn't a
learn
problem.
more. Oh yes, I'm aware. Yeah, but like it's like struggling to overcome that hurdle. But like once we like nail something down, I feel like we just kind of it becomes like more natural to us.
It must feel good too to execute something that's a little more than just this is in 4/4 at 110 BPM. You know, 10,
a lot of
10
times.
BPM.
Yeah.
Now that I can do on the drums.
Wow, that's a
yeah, like I'm sure it's
It's just a sign.
It's just a sign. It's just a sign tone. I'm sure that feels pretty good to execute something like that. That's a little more complex.
You know, like those galaxy brain memes.
Yeah,
That's what it feels
That's what
like.
it's like. Yeah.
It feels like I'm transcending every time I play. Every time I play a phone.
Do you guys ever get into a thing? I feel like it'd be the setup of your band and the instruments that you have, and also like the backgrounds that you guys have and the chemistry, like all those things considered.
Oh, we did have we had physics together in high
chemical
school.
prisoner.
Chemistry prisoner. That's how I felt in 11th grade.
Chemistry jail guy.
We're renaming the song. Ronnie Radke, if you're watching.
I imagine that you guys. Do you guys jam a lot? Do you guys just start doing stuff and you're like, this just sounds good? And then
It sometimes happens.
Sometimes
Yeah.
we do. We do that.
You ever like give a start and you're like, this sounds bad.
Very
you're like terrible.
more.
Yeah, this is in the 5-song EP.
Yeah, more frequently. The 4-song EP is good, but the 5-song EP.
The 5 songs.
Pat,
Yeah.
let me break something down to you. That's most of what jamming is. It's mostly just bad.
It works,
and then-
though, like-
yeah, it does.
Well, because I
though.
remember one time I was just playing Dearly Beloved from Kingdom Hearts.
Right.
And,
Of course.
And he was playing the guitar, and we literally just went on for like 10 minutes with it.
It happens.
Like, it just goes. Because I improv a lot on that. Like, I played originally and just go.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun.
And that one is one with a fairly simple chord structure. I think the only hitch, I wouldn't even call it so much a hitch because we just kind of adapt to it, is like a lot of times when I have to jam, it's like a more like blues type setting, you know, like going to like an open mic or something where people are just like, let's just do the 12-bar blues, and then Dawson's like, let's do actual jazz, and I'm just like, hold on, let me use my brain first, and then I'll start.
Wait a second.
And then what I usually just end up doing is I end up turning it into like kind of like a jazz funk hybrid, so I can just stay on like the same like 2 notes and like
Yeah.
change the bass
Yeah,
note every now and
yeah,
again.
You have to work around what you know.
I do funk until I become
Yeah.
comfortable with jazz, and that's how we get around our differences. Using good communication and brotherly love.
Good
So would you
communication,
say-
aka nothing.
We are musicians.
aka hands.
You're gonna say.
Yeah, sorry.
Where did you
Okay.
go?
I
Where
don't
did
know
you go
if
with
this
that,
joke's
Pat?
bad. I guess I'm gonna say it anyway.
Yeah,
Would you say that funk is the smoke on the water on your way to jazz then?
Oh god.
No, I wouldn't actually say that. I don't think all funk is just like. Not all funk is just pedaling on 2 notes.
That's a dead end.
And like,
no, I didn't mean
Josh
Josh is gone, but
went into a closet.
no, not all funk has to just be pedaling on the same notes or
Yeah.
just doing like parallel like intervals and all that.
Yeah.
But it's like it's something that you can do, I think, more easily in funk than a lot of other genres.
For some reason, I just had smoke in the water on the mind for the last like 10 minutes, and I'm like, there's a
That's
joke in
weird.
here somewhere.
Should we cover Deep Purple next? Is that our move?
Josh
Josh is a huge fan of Deep Purple.
Oh, Josh loves Deep Purple. Okay, well,
Yeah.
noted.
You wanna play
I've been
Smoke
listening.
on the
I've been
Water
listening to a
sequence?
lot of. My dad's been doing some house cleaning over the past couple weeks, and like a good son, I just kind of sit there and not help him.
Is your dad an Oakland Raiders fan?
He is an Oakland Raiders fan. That's why it's in the background of all the videos.
Yeah, dude, I love that.
Nice Easter egg there.
Because you guys came out with a new lyric video.
Yeah, and it was shot in the same place as the Chemical Prisoner one. The Oakland Raiders are
Whoa,
still there.
Little behind the scenes going.
Wow.
Yeah, we were just like Chris, because we talked to Chris Kennedy, our good boy Chris Kennedy. I know you guys have had him on before.
Of
Never
Chris
heard of
Kennedy,
him.
of Kennedy family fame.
He's all
Yeah.
right, but he did all the filming for us, and I was like, Chris, I feel like we just want to do like a nice like homey video type.
I gotta
thing.
say something about Chris real quick.
Yes.
Did you know that he's been trolling us?
Yeah.
He changed. Okay.
I was there when he told you.
Can you expose this?
Wow.
No, that he he flips his hair to a different side every time now
Yeah.
because you once asked him which
Yeah.
side does he flip his hair to.
That's hilarious.
He's been doing that. Yeah.
Was that whose joke was that?
I don't know.
Who noticed that first?
Was
One of yours.
Did you know that?
It was one of
Mitchell
yours.
was at that meeting.
I'd like to take credit for it, but I don't know if I can.
You can. We don't remember who did it anymore, so you
live.
can.
Thanks,
Pretty
everybody.
much set in stone now.
Yeah. Well, no, but yeah,
That's
Chris
really
has
funny.
done some excellent film work for us too, and I think it's all just kind of come down to like, we don't have much right now, but we want to do what we can with what we got.
Yeah.
Like
So-
sometimes you
It's-
wake up with the hair on the right side of your head. And
Yeah, yeah.
It just the filming just goes well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
That's how it happened both times Chris filmed with us. Yeah.
It's so. actually, wait. You were about to say something about your dad.
I was about to say something about my dad.
I don't
so my
want to
dad.
cut that. Yeah.
Oh no, it wasn't.
At my house.
It's not on topic anymore. We were just talking about classic rock, and I was just like, my dad's been playing a lot of Scorpions, and I was really like digging, like I was digging "Still Loving You" the other day,
Yeah.
and I feel like that would be a really good song for us. I don't know if you've ever heard it,
I
but
would. Yeah, I would listen to that.
Cover anything.
I'll cover it.
yes.
This would be fun.
Well, I really like "Falling in Reverse."
Never mind.
Oh God.
So that was one thing about Plume, and still is, like how DIY it all is, and you're really working with the limitations that you have, but you're doing it, in my opinion, like very well, and you've developed, like, what was kind of as the person, I mean, it's both of you guys mainly that have been there since
The one
beginning.
person.
How has it been to kind of create that image, like coming up with the iconography that you use or the color palette even? Like, you thought about a lot of things branding-wise of like how you guys kind of sell yourselves that I think is interesting.
Is it that you have, you have an on-brand Plume shirt?
One day. That comes
No, you
with the
already
funds
do.
that we don't have. Oh yeah, you're right.
The dress shirts. Oh yeah,
The dress shirts. That's true. I did make those. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll wear those.
We haven't brought
Pretty
those out for a
DIY.
while.
Yeah, I
but
know. We did it for the
first
Philly show.
the first tour that we went on.
Yeah.
Tour.
Coffee
PA tour.
shop, bop, hop.
That's
yes,
right.
that one.
We all got to start
Yeah.
out small, you know. So that's what we did.
That,
It was
even
fun.
stuff like that I'm talking about, where you kind of like, you know, you make the amount of thought you put into the presentation of it all, you know, where you're like, well, we're not just gonna go play coffee shops. We're gonna make a thing out of it, you know, and we're gonna like make it into this larger than it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
well,
that stuff's so cool.
I think a lot of that goes to who we were working with too. For as much grief as I give her, Macy, if you're watching this, you're also very good at like branding and keeping like a consistent Bronze for Birdie, yeah. Keeping like a consistent aesthetic. So a lot of like the tour poster, for example, like that was like her work. And then she was all kind of advertising in like a similar aesthetic, and ours just kind of happened to like mesh decently well together. Yeah. So, you know, honestly, a lot of like the aesthetic that we have is just kind of improvised. It kind of just happened, and I was like, I like it, so I'll just keep doing similar edits to make these things look similar. Yeah, you just try to kind of make everything look, you know, like it flows together. You know, like I feel like we're kind of I feel like each band should like treat like their album. Well, I mean, far be it for me to tell you how to do things, but I like when bands treat
As a professional.
as an experienced amateur. I like when each band treats kind of their album as like an era. You know, like even though Rainbow Drive is only like 5 songs, like we kind of have that aesthetic. It's 4, it's 9,
12.
whatever number it is. It's kind of like where we're at now, you know. So I feel like the whole Rainbow thing is like it's light, it's acoustic, it's pleasant enough, and that's it suits us right now, you know. Mm-hmm. As we go in different directions, we look a little different. B-roll.
I think that it's really interesting to when bands kind of take those things seriously and being like, well, we have this, because you said it's kind of an era. Each album is kind of this era, and it's like I see a lot of bands that really like. I wish they would put more thought into the theatrics of it and the presentation of all those things, you know. And I can see that you guys have a lot of fun with it, you know, figuring all of that out and coming up with that. So it's cool. I think it's cool to see, especially on this level where you have like very little materials to work with, but you're still putting so much thought into those things and still making it such a theatrical kind of production. Whereas, I mean, I see a lot of other bands that are just kind of like, yeah, it's an album. It's like, yeah, this is a picture I took on my iPhone. That's the album cover.
No, we know we gotta hype things up if we want anybody to care about it, you know?
Yeah.
We gotta meme it up.
Yeah, and that's our specialty.
So you kind of use it as a way to like set yourselves apart.
Yeah.
It's interesting though that you mentioned the theatrics about it, because for one, I appreciate that you guys, as people who extensively know
I'm
more
very
about
visual too, so
Yeah.
it's stuff that I definitely.
Well, I mean, the
like,
fact that you
take
guys
into
know
account.
like more formally about me, I'm just kind of like a self-trained like in that aspect. But when it comes to like the theatrics and stuff, I have a lot easier time with that, with like things that you can like edit, like a photo or a video.
Yeah.
But I know I was talking with this actually about Chris from Airspace, because he played with us for a little while before he had to go his separate ways. Bless my man, he had to go off and do the bigger and better things. He's dead now, yeah. No, but he also he's very much about like the on-stage theatrics.
Yes.
So he was all like, if you ever need help with like on-stage theatrics, I'm always like full of ideas.
Dude, I
can
got
just throw.
fireworks in the back of my car.
Yeah, and I know that we're not exactly that type of vibe, but like the fact that there's multiple ways to be theatrical.
Yeah.
You know, even if you want to call it like theatrical, because it is.
Even looking unified. There's a lot of bands that don't even get that down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is important.
That is something I struggle with because my outfit is just a lot of dad clothes. It's more about practicality than looking good.
You never have to see my outfit because I'm behind the keyboard. So.
Yeah. Me, you gotta see me.
See like the collar. You just have plume like.
Yeah.
That's
like a priest.
Yeah.
You got like the X.
I'd buy that merch.
Well, that's why I think that's why I thought like the button downs, at least for like occasionally, are like a good idea because it's like, oh, I don't really have to think about what I'm wearing. Yeah. I can just wear. It's got like the branding on itself. It's recognizable. It looks like the Zodiac Killer. That's what I had gotten actually more than anything. Is that the X with the?
Did you
O
think
was
about that before you did that?
I didn't think about it at
or
all.
you did it,
like
and then people were like, "Is that the Zodiac Killer?"
I did it, and people said that, and I was like,
I've already really doubled down on this. Like,
yeah.
there's no going back.
Well, it kind of just came to me one day. Like I was just thinking of like, what do bands do that's like simple and DIY? It's like, oh, they scribble things over art they've made. And I was like, what's something that could be like open-ended and symbolic? And I was like, oh, the XO and the wings.
Yeah.
And then they were like, why is there a Zodiac Killer on your? And I'm like, whatever.
You know, it also reminds me of is this is a very intermediate meme, but there's a
You definitely didn't hear what I said.
No, I didn't.
I really
There's
hope I get it now.
There's a series on YouTube from the Slender Man, which was before the Slender Man was like popular, which was Marble Hornets, and they use a symbol to denote like it's the symbol for the Slender Man, and it's also a circle with an X through it. Yeah.
We're Slenderman now too.
We should bring that up on screen.
I think please do. I would very much love to see that in the playback.
You can also look it up if you don't want to wait a week.
Nah. But we also when we played. I know you were at school for the show that we played in the Meat Locker in New Jersey.
Fantastic.
But
Wait, a Meat Locker or the Meat?
The Meat Locker is the name of the venue. It's kind of like a basement sort of venue on the side of the street. It was an old Meat Locker, and that's why they call it that. But they actually had what looked like our logo on the back wall. Because again, real
They're
simple,
fans.
just a circle with an X through it.
Right.
And I made a post about it on Instagram. I put one of the pictures up that the photographer took of me and Jared on the stage, and I just went, "Is that our logo in the background?" Because it's simple, you know.
Also, how did you arrive to Plume as a name?
Oh god.
Where did that? Were you just a bunch of plums in Germany, or like?
So
Is that how it's spelled?
It was just like.
No, it's not. We kind of just made it up.
Plümlaut.
Yeah, the umlaut. I know that.
A Germanic language,
That's
yeah.
how it's spelled.
I don't think so.
They'd be very simple.
Maybe I don't
We
know.
could
Oh,
petition.
I'm sorry, I just kicked you. Dude.
It's okay, dude. Nobody can see it.
That's true.
So it didn't happen.
Anything that happens
So-
under the table stays under the table.
The Plume. Oh no, he caught it.
He got
caught
the
all
leg
of our feet.
shot.
So
He got the feet.
It was just a string of us like memeing around.
yeah, we were memeing really hard one day, and we kept because we, like I said before, we love Jukebox the Ghost. Tommy, if you're watching this, I love you. He's not, but he did say
We'll send it
he
to
did he did say that he liked our song the other day, so I was very happy about
Really?
that. Yeah,
That's
he's a,
awesome.
He's a
Made
sweet
it.
fellow. That
I love
honest.
Pretty
that-
much famous.
I love when
Yeah.
that crossover happens.
Yeah.
It makes you just be like, all right, that gave me juice to go another like year and a half.
Jukebox the Ghost.
Juice box and toast.
Yeah, so Jukebox the Ghost thing is that their name is really like original and catchy, but it can also be perverted in multiple ways, like Juicebox the Toast.
Okay.
And it was a lot
We
of
ended up
that.
saying a lot of different things that sounded nothing like Jukebox the Ghost, and eventually he was just like prune. And I was like, what do you
Nice.
mean? And he's like prune with an umlaut over the U.
Yeah.
And I was like, all
And then
right.
we were gonna be prune, but then wasn't there?
There's like a fashion company
yeah,
called
there's a
Prune.
fashion company
funny.
that
I thought
had
you
it
were
like
gonna say it was
trademarked,
a
and we're like,
fascist
well,
company.
Plume is just a little off. And then,
But Plume is riper. I feel like Plume
It's
resembles
riper.
an evolution from death into life, you know?
I feel like
right.
you need
Did
to
I just say
come,
that?
like
However you want to vilify that.
Did I say that? Okay.
you need to have this understanding, I think, as a group where like you reach a certain level of memery and then just nothing actually
like
matters
this?
anymore.
Like that?
Yeah, like that.
I think that's
Like you just can't take it seriously, and like anything that happens past this point, like we can keep going, but no big changes. Like
first
don't
off-
name your band after a plum.
Thank you for transcending right as Zach started talking about transcending. Yeah, I feel like that's kind of just our ethos as people, you know, because it's just like, oh, like music,
That's my
like
house.
that's his house.
That's not Matt.
This is our ethos. This is our house.
That's
The man from Overwatch.
yeah.
It looks like Sonic Unleashed to
Also
me.
Santorini.
Oh no! What a terrible
man.
reference.
No, no.
Key.
15. Only if you're talking PS2 and Wii version, but
Yes.
not to tangent from that.
The whole thing's a tangent.
Oh no, Chandler. I mean, that's the fun of it, right?
Yeah. Dude, this is also the most specific. Like, there's so many things that we're gonna talk about.
Oh, I know, dude.
The most specific topics that like 40.
I don't know what you're thinking about this, but this is the episode that's going to put us on the map because people are going to be like, oh my god, they love Skullgirls?
Yes.
I love Skullgirls. Let's listen to their music.
That's usually all it takes for me to become a fan of somebody.
Let's not like that.
No, okay, so assuming that they accidentally click off the video
Before Sonic Unleashed.
after we talk about Skullgirls.
chance.
Yeah.
We're going to put it in the highlights show.
Oh god, the highlights show is going to be... I honestly was thinking about that this entire time.
The highlights trailer should be only the references.
Everything we've said so far is gonna make some kind of highlights
it's
trailer.
gonna be great.
No, I think. But going back to what you were saying about like transcending and memeing, I feel like our thing as people is that we're not like about image, you know? Because a lot of bands are just like, oh, we should be cool and like appeal to a crowd. And Plum's just like, let's just make music and whoever wants to listen to it can listen to it. Because that's just kind of who we are.
That's
as
just kind
people.
of the bottom line. We both just like playing music.
So even if we have,
that's the point.
even if we have like an image, it's still us, you know?
Yeah.
Just a bunch of dudes.
Just the
1 foot apart, creating a whirlpool in the hot tub.
And that we're back to the beginning. All
right.
So full
Always
circle,
are,
and
man.
we're actually approaching an hour.
Yeah.
Very good.
Hot.
Yeah.
How did you
We
know
made
that?
it.
Dude, it's getting
The
real.
clock right behind you.
Oh! It's
I've
actually.
been looking at that clock. That
Yeah,
clock's sick.
that's clock.
Yeah, that is a cool
it's
clock.
It's a steampunk.
Yeah,
Welcome to
I love
the
that.
clock. Steam.
The clock tour.
Yo, I see all the steam coming off.
Yeah. You guys feel how hot it's getting? Like we
Yes, I'm
talked
sweating.
about
Oh
it.
my
I feel it. I feel
can
it.
visibly see everyone starting to sweat. I'm like, you thought we were joking.
It's just a little sweat.
Pit check.
A what? Pit check. No.
Oh,
See,
no.
I don't sweat, Pat.
That's on there. I see sweat.
No, that's not. Okay.
this-
Well,
Oh, those are moist.
so dark.
Yeah, luckily for you, I
my
definitely
God.
sweat a lot more in the pits.
In the pit.
This is the pits.
I'd like to thank you for opening up or attempting to open up pits every time I've ever seen you play.
Fantastic.
Have we really?
You try to
You make
open up
that
the
joke
pit
a
during
lot.
Plume?
I'm a
Oh
huge
yeah, that's
fan of it.
true. No, I never open up the pit in Plume. At least I don't
missed
think
one.
I ever have.
I think you might have
intentionally.
been, I think at the show in Bloomsburg I was at, I think you made a joke.
I probably did make a joke about opening up the pit. Was that the one where it was all of us though, or was that the one where it was
No,
just
it was
me
just
that
you.
time? Of course I did.
If you
Because
do
no
the-
one was there to control me.
If you do the root beer jazz song, can you please open up the pit during that song?
You know how I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Root beer blues.
During the improv solo.
Root beer
The whole
blues
thing
is
was
gonna
improv.
be. It's gonna
Literally,
be.
this song. I just started jamming on. It was like E or something.
I think it was D.
D or something.
Yeah, it was
I
like
don't remember
D.
what
figure that
It was like
out.
a D Dorian.
Yeah. gotta
Yeah,
figure that
I was
out.
playing some. I was just like going off, and then he started, and then we were just going so hard, and then we're
Nice.
like, we're not gonna remember this, and then it's like, let's record it so we remember it, and then literally we tried. I could barely remember what we did.
No, but we
So,
basically
like,
did the
that's
same
the
thing.
worst.
yeah, like
Well, the thing about it, I think, is it's going to be an amalgamation of several genres. So somewhere in there just needs to be this massive breakdown.
yeah.
Like metalcore, and then it goes right back to bum bum ba bum bum ba da, however it went.
That's when you pick up a star in Mario. That's pretty much the whole.
Check out that cover coming soon.
Wow. And check out Plume on.
Wow.
You mentioned Twitter, right?
That was a beautiful segue.
We did. If we get 100 followers, we will change our profile picture to I don't know what we
Alucard.
agreed upon.
What
Alucard.
if
Yep.
I follow and unfollow and follow 100 times?
I think
Does that count?
you have to
Does that
make
count?
70 alternate accounts.
That only gets
That
you
was
to
a very
71.
niche reference.
Okay. I didn't get it.
I know. One person out here. Well,
Leave
just
a
there's gonna be
comment
one.
down below if you understood that reference.
Please follow Plume on Twitter.
Please,
Please, our lives depend on.
They do.
please, they have our kids.
Jared's holding us at gunpoint. You just don't see it. He's got a rifle. He's behind Josh.
They have all of our dads. So follow Plume on everything. Check you guys out on Spotify and Bandcamp.
No, we actually we're on like
Apple
all
Music.
we're on like all those streaming
Apple
services.
Music.
Thanks to DistroKid, our sponsor for today's episode.
I wish.
I don't know about
Right?
that. And Poorly Edited Podcast.
Yes,
Thanks
check us out on the Poorly Edited
But-
podcast.
Yeah.
That's I think the thing I'm most excited about at this moment
Thanks
in
for
time.
watching. Follow us on all social media: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Poorly Edited Podcast. Lab 212.
If you're interested in buying that drum set, hit up Pat.
Yeah, hit up Pat.
No, actually, it'll be mine by the end of today. So.
Well,
I will redirect you to my cousin.
We just came out with, it's Easter Monday. We just came out with our new episode that went up today, which is us going to the Tower Theater in Upper Darby to interview Jordan Rudess from Dream Theater. which is super awesome. He just came out with an album on Saturday, so go check that out as well.
Speaking of keys.
Yeah, speaking of the keys.
He's got a guitar.
He's got a guitar. He does.
Oh,
yeah.
He's what I aspire.
Might have to take it.
Yeah.
Watch out.
And remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the video, and check us out when we come out. More stuff. We're coming out with weekly vlogs every Friday. We just came out with one where we go to
TSWMP is back?
New Orleans.
Maybe.
TSWMP is coming back. It's a tongue twister.
There's a really good episode coming out. That explains the hiatus.
Yeah, it explains the hiatus very well. A lot of pain and suffering that we went through to come out with these next few episodes of TSWMP.
For all you lore junkies, you don't want to miss this episode.
A lot of lore. Guys, thank you so much for coming out.
Thank you for having
us.
us.
An hour, as always, when we get to talk
fun.
with you guys. Pro Dad Podcast signing out. Thanks so much for watching, guys. We'll catch you later.